Bittorrent value equivalent to 0.2172 rands a coin. The present cost range 2152 to 2210. The earlier day close pals 2193. The change was 0.0 to 1, 96%. Backwards rate, ZAR to BTT. Bittorrent cost expectation for September 2024. Initially cost at 0.172 rands. Excessive costs by then to 112, while low costs by the 172. The arrived at the midpoint of costs Bono 1873. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends of 1974. Change for September 16%. Bittorrent figure for October 2024. Initially cost at 0.1974 rands. Excessive costs priced into 45, while low costs priced into 1974. The arrived at the midpoint of costs priced into 172. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends by then to tune it. Change for October 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for November 2024. Before all else cost at 0.229 rands. Excessive cost to 194 while low costs rise on to 164. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointing to 318. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends point to 327. Change for November 16%. Bittorrent figure for December 2024. Before all else cost at 0.2327 rands. Excessive costs station to 888, while low costs by now to 327. The arrived at the midpoint of costs by 10 to 56. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends amazing to 699. Change for December 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for January 2025. In the first place, cost at 0.92699 rands. Exorbitant costs 986, while low costs put into 486. The found the middle value of cost on Pomo 268. Bittorrent cost gauge toward the month's ends whiting to 673. Change for January 1%. Bittorrent gauge for February 2025. In the first place, cost at 0.2673 rands. Exorbitant costs for than 3318, while low cost buys me to 673. The found the middle value of cost point into 941. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends point in 3101. Change for February 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for Walk 2025. At the outset, cost at 0.3101 rands. Excessive costs point in 3322, while low costs pose on 2888. The arrived at the midpoint of costs point in 3104. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends Martin 3105. Change for spring to 1%. Bittorrent figure for April 2025. Before all else cost at 0.3105 rands. Excessive cost point in 3374, while low cost point into 932. The arrived at the midpoint of costs point in 3141. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends point in 3153. Change for April 15%. Bittorrent cost expectation for May 2025. In the first place, cost at 0.3153 rands. Exorbitant costs point at 3153, while low costs point into 675. The found the middle value of cost to point out at 964. Bittorrent cost gauge toward the month's ends pointing to 876. Change for May 88%. Bittorrent gauge for June 2025. In the first place, cost at 0.10876 rands. Exorbitant costs 0.2876, while low cost points to 346. The arrived at the midpoint of costs 0.2655. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends Pisney 2523. Change for June 12%. Bittorrent cost expectation for July 2025. At the outset, cost at 0.92523 rands. Excessive costs in the 523, while low costs priced into 190. The arrived at the midpoint of costs point into 398. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends Posnan to 355. Change for July 6-7%. Bittorrent conjecture for August 2025. At the outset, cost at 0.10 to 355 rands. Excessive costs 1 not a 521, while low costs priced into 191. The arrived at the midpoint of costs by 10 to 356. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends priced into 356. Change for August 9%. Bittorrent cost expectation for September 2025. First and foremost, cost at 0.2356 rands. Exorbitant costs in 12356, while low costs bound at 1992. The found the middle value of cost following to 212. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends minus into 142. Change for September 9 1%. Bittorrent estimate for October 2025. First and foremost, cost at 0.142 rands. Exorbitant costs might for 2378, while low costs has 266. They found the middle value of cost 222. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's end spot 222. Change for October 37%. Bittorrent cost expectation for November 2025. At the outset, cost at 0.2222 rands. Excessive costs rate into 729, while low costs margin to 222. The arrived at the midpoint of costs by to 431. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends margin to 55. Change for November 14.8%. Bittorrent figure for December 2025. Before all else, cost at 0 and down to 55 rands. Excessive costs soon to 772, while low costs rise to 410. The arrived at the midpoint of costs right down to 581. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's end spot into 591. Change for December 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for January 2026. At the outset, cost at 0 into 591 rands. Excessive costs spent into 591, while low costs might into 107. The arrived at the midpoint of cost about into 389. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's end 0 into 266. Change for January 5%. Bittorrent conjecture for February 2026. At the outset, cost at 0.266 rands. Excessive costs spot down to 76, while low costs rise to 266. The arrived at the midpoint of costs point to 442. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's end spot to 529. Change for February 11.6%. Bittorrent cost expectation for Walk 2026. Initially cost at 0 to 529 rands. Excessive costs split into 529, while low costs was into 149. The arrived at the midpoint of costs bussnies to 380. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's end spot into 311. Change for spring 86%. Bittorrent figure for April 2026. Initially cost at 0 to 311 rands. Excessive costs spot into 311, while low costs spot in 1967. The arrived at the midpoint of costs went down to 176. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's end 2115. Change for April 85%. Bittorrent cost expectation for May 2026. At the outset, cost at 0 to 2115 rands. Exorbitant costs might into 65, while low costs might into 2115. They found the middle value of cost to 327. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends boist into 453. Change for May 16%. Bittorrent